Hotel Doha, rally headquarters for the first round of the Middle East Rally Championship, the Qatar Rally. Adding extra interest to this opening round of the series were official entries from Toyota Team Europe for Bjorn Valdegaard, Fred Gallagher and Lars-Erik Torp, both Orselius. Backing them up was the third entry in Marlborough colours for Mohammed bin Sulayem with his new partner Solveig Andersson from Sweden. This was Toyota Team Europe's first foray into Middle East Rally. It served as a two-forum exercise. One, to test the cars under difficult rally conditions prior to the Safari Rally in Easter, and two, to fly the Toyota flag in what's an important area for the company in terms of sales. Pre-event scrutineering was to proceed smoothly with no last-minute hiccups or problems to delay the team's progress. Team manager Henry Liddon keeps a wary eye on things nevertheless, just in case. It is anticipated that Lars-Erik Torp will be the heir of the team, although no one will admit to team orders. Mohammed bin Sulayem probably has the most pressure on him. Runner-up in last year's championship, he is anxious to fill the #1 spot this year and prove he has the potential to go on to bigger and better things in rallying. A good result here against stronger opposition than normally found in Middle East rallying will obviously help. Part of that opposition comes not just from within his own team, but from his arch-rival Michel Sala, who has secured support from British-American Tobacco's 555 brand to run an Audi Quattro. Prepared by Andy Dawson, it is in fact the car that Andy took to 4th overall on the inaugural Hong Kong to Peking rally in 1985. It represents Sala's best chance of taking top honours. He has in the past driven in a Toyota team alongside bin Sulayem, and more recently on his own private Opel Manta 400. Carrying Bessie's sponsorship as usual, Sala is confident he can achieve the result the team expected. Include Paul Connolly and Ewan Burke from Dubai in their Quattro. Looking immaculate but not having the pedigree of the Dawson-built example, it isn't expected to challenge the leaders. Further down the order, local crew Abbas Al-Masawi and Graham Butterworth are out in a recently purchased Group A Toyota Corolla. This is the car that Mark Leonard so comprehensively rolled in the Oman Rally, and whilst looking reasonably straight, a close inspection reveals signs of its earlier troubles. They're hoping number 13 won't be unlucky for them.
Looked forward to it last year. It won't be an easy year. More tougher. Last year we had one competitor, which is Saeed, for me to compete with. This year there more competition, tougher. And it's a privilege having Bjorn Valdegaard here to rally in the Middle East. It's first time, it makes it important, and it's got other drivers also. So it's a very good event. We'll see a lot of competition. There are a lot of better cars also this year.
The 1985 Middle East Rally champion, Saeed Al-Hasri, looks on as the sponsor drags Bjorn Valdegaard away at the start. Ahead of him, 2 days of very hard rallying. Lars-Erik Torp follows at number 3. The number 2 spot was vacant, having been originally allocated to the Metro 6R4 of Jimmy McRae. A strange and indeed controversial entry by Dave Richards Motorsport, as McRae was competing on the National Breakdown Rally in England the very same weekend. Mohammed bin Sulayem has his supporters in hand from Dubai to wave him on his way. Michel Sala, with Ron Varley alongside, moves off the line after bin Sulayem, hoping the positions will be reversed by the rally finish. Tony Georgiou and Jane McGibbon look in good spirits. Let's hope they're both still smiling by the finish. Special stage 3, and Valdegaard powers across the sandy track, already in the lead and showing the commitment that gave him a World Championship title. only just Michel Sala's Quattro. Mohammed bin Sulayem holds third place, some 13 seconds down, getting used, no doubt, to his new Swedish co-driver. Torp is a scant 2 seconds in arrears on his first visit to desert stages. Sadoun Al-Kawari is the fastest Qatari driver, really pushing the Talbot Lotus along to hold a fine 5th place. Paul Connolly does his best to shorten the nose of the Quattro as he literally flies over the flying finish line in 6th position. Behind him, the Nissan of Tony Georgiou, rather further back so early in the event than he would have liked due to punctures. Al-Mazroui had a major panic before the start when his gearbox packed in. A replacement was hastily fitted, but he goes out after this stage with a broken axle, probably a legacy of losing a wheel on the previous stage. The others behind keep plugging away at their own pace, enjoying their own rally away from the frantic battle at the head of the field. Not the least of these is the little Daihatsu Charade in the hands of Jabba Al-Mari. Special Stage 6, the fastest on the event, although for this ship of the desert, life is to be taken at a leisurely pace. Not so Bjorn Valdegaard, who bounces through the heat haze over the yumps to set fastest time and further extend his lead. Sala still hangs on to 2nd place, with Torp now up to 3rd and threatening to take that 2nd spot from the Quattro. Bin Sulayem is now 3 seconds behind him, after having to drive 4 kilometers with a puncture, with Al-Kawari's Lotus 2 minutes further back, despite some determined driving. So to the oil centre at Dukhan on the coast, where crews had a chance for major service. That then followed the 2 longest stages of the rally. The first across the salt plains south of Dukhan, and the second looping back north through the low hills towards Rada al-Faras, then via 1 more stage to service at Cheyenne. Service at China, and for the leading Toyota team, only routine maintenance. Suspension and tyres being the main area for attention. In the rival Audi camp, there is plenty of activity as Michel Sala's Quattro has the turbo checked after losing power on stage 8. Andy Dawson proves that despite an engineering degree, he can still revert to that most essential of tools, a large hammer. We asked Michel Sala's co-driver, Ralli, how their rally's progressing.
No, in the long one we had a turbo problem, but also a camel decided to take a trip across the road. So unfortunately we obey the local laws and slow down and wait for it to pass. Other than that, it's going very well.
Tony Giorgio, meanwhile, brings his Nissan in rather late and looking somewhat second-hand. We asked him what the problem has been.
We got lost on stage 8 for about 14 kilometers. And when we found the track again, we got a puncture. And studs came out, we couldn't tighten the wheel nuts. So we lost a lot of time trying to fix that. Eventually we continued on 3 nuts only. And then on stage 9 we had another puncture. And we found out when we came to a slow left and I turned and the car just went straight into a tree. So we did a bit of damage. Anyway, it's not too bad. We can fix it and continue and see how we pick up time.
From Shahania, there remained a matter of a further 8 stages before an overnight halt back at the Ramada Hotel in Doha. Leading crews to retire so far included Paul Connolly in the Quattro, who had suffered more than most with punctures and decided to call it a day before he totally destroyed his car. Also, locals Massawi and Butterworth, who had got as high as 6th overall and leading Group A when their gearbox cried enough in the Toyota Corolla. By the end of the first day, the top positions were Baldegard leading from Torp, Saleem making it a good 1-2-3 for Toyota, then Sala, Kawari, then Tony Giorgio's Nissan. Restart at the civilized hour of 11 o'clock the next morning, crews had a further 15 stages to tackle during what was expected to be a hot and furious day's action. First stage was a repeat of the previous day's opening test, and it was Michel Sala who, with the turbo boost pressure turned right up, really flew to take fastest time. Indeed, he was to repeat the performance on the next 3 stages. Baldegard still held the lead, however, and with 4 minutes in hand, there was perhaps no need to go for faster stage times. Torp also had 3 minutes on Bin Saleem, who was in 3rd place, and who now was being threatened by Sala's hard-charging Quattro. Al-Kawari's Lotus is getting more and more battered as the rally progresses, but he's still there in 5th place. The little Daihatsu of Jabba Al-Mari is a revelation in 6th position. Tony Giorgio has his 6th puncture of the rally, and by now has resigned himself to a place behind the leading pack. Service at Cheyenne, and for the rally leader Baldegard, a problem. On stage 20, he recorded a really slow stage time as he crawled through with a broken gearbox. As mechanics swarmed over his car, the main talking point was whether they could replace it in time and therefore save him collecting road penalties, which would jeopardize his lead. Anxious glances were exchanged between team members as the minutes ticked away. Rally camp, all is going well, and we ask Andy Dawson if he's pleased with Salah's progress.
Yeah, no problem at all. I think I said to him this morning to extract the digit, and he has extracted the digit. He's beaten Bin Sulayem by 15, 10 and 11 on the last 3 stages, so I'm very happy.
Further down the order, there had been all sorts of mayhem. Al-Khawari had rolled, as indeed had Vasco Manacas, his Peugeot 205 GTI. But the little Daihatsu is still as smart as ever. The following stage, and Valdegaard proves that things are back to normal by roaring through the stage, still 3.5 minutes in the lead. His mechanics had changed the gearbox in an incredible 9.5 minutes. Thorpe was safe in second place, over 3 minutes in on teammate Bin Sulayem. Salah, who pulverized the opposition with another faster stage time and moved yet closer to Bin Sulayem. Al-Khawari is still plugging on, the Lotus looking more and more battered as the rally progresses, but yes, he's still there in 5th place. By the side of the track with a puncture. In the 90-degree heat, it's no fun changing the wheel despite the encouragement of spectators. As Tony George's Nissan appears in sight, repairs are completed. Khawari drops the clutch and roars off down the stage, much to the disgust of Georgiou, who has to force his way past through the choking dust. Stage 24, and Valdegaard still has a 3.5 minute lead over Thorpe. At present, it looks as if the rally is going exactly as predicted. Mohammed Bin Sulayem is managing to stay ahead of Salah, but only just. The margin is now down to just 8 seconds. This despite Salah having the most amazing escape on the previous stage, when the Quattro got out of phase over some yumps and they flew off the track onto the desert, almost destroying the rear of the car. Tony Georgiou is now ahead on the road, but still pushing down in 7th place. And unless disaster strikes those in front, he is too far back to challenge. 25 minutes ahead is the Lotus of Al-Mawari. A new shell looks certain, as this one is looking decidedly worse for wear. And this is his first rally on the car. Behind Georgiou, Vasco Manacas' little 205 GTI Peugeot, also looking worse for wear. Place just inside the top 10, Dubai Rally team member Ali Al-Jafar, who is having a steady run in the Corolla and staying out of trouble. At the following Shineer service, he receives advice and encouragement from supporters as mechanics set about changing suspension and tyres. Stage 27, with only 5 more remaining before the rally finish. Valdegaard sets fastest time, just to emphasize who's in charge. Next through, Thorpe, banging and crashing over the rough track with a broken front strut, and only the remnants of a wheel hanging in place. He receives the full encouragement of the large crowd, but will he make it to the stage finish and emergency service? Hard on his heels, charging through the dust, Bin Sulayem, who has clawed a few seconds back from Salah. The gap now, 11 seconds. Did make it to service and watches anxiously as the service crew work against the clock to repair the damage. Not only has the front suspension broken, but running on the sump guard for 5 kilometres has holed the sump. Oil pours out as the mechanics try plugging the hole with sealing compound. Like three wise men, Thorcelius, Anderson and Liddon look on, but can do nothing but hope, as the minutes tick away and Torp is getting closer to incurring road penalties, which is sure to drop him down the order. Crash helmet on, belts fastened, Torp pumps the brake pedal whilst mechanics complete final checks. In a professional team, nothing is left to chance. As the sun slowly sinks down on the horizon, casting deep shadows and turning the desert landscape into a rich mauve, Valdegaard powers through, still in lead. Next on the scene and really pushing on, Mohammed bin Sulayem. He knows the gap between himself and Salah has narrowed. Salah is trying as hard as he can to steal second place in the dying minutes of the rally, and is giving his all as usual. Probably one of the drives of the rally was by Jabba El Mari in a diminutive 3-cylinder Daihatsu, looking and sounding just as good as it did when it left the start. Tony Giorgio has not had the best of rallies. He never really recovered from the indiscretion on stage 8 on the very first day, nor a total of 10 punctures. Al-Khawari's Sunbeam Lotus now looks ready for the scrap heap. The body bent and battered, the wheels out of alignment. He nevertheless makes it to the finish. The final drama is reserved for Torp, who collects a puncture midway through the stage. Then, as he crosses the flying finish line, loses the wheel, hub and brake caliper, and completes the stage and then onto service on 3 wheels. The damage is serious. It now really has turned into a race against time due to his earlier front suspension failure. Although repairs are eventually effected and Torp completes all the stages, he goes OTL and is not classified as a finisher. Outside the Ramada Hotel Doha, the local dancing group await the arrival of rally leader Bjorn Valdegaard and Fred Gallagher. They have won by just over 3.5 minutes and richly deserve the loud applause of the crowd. Making it into second place, Mohammed bin Sulayem and Solveig Anderson, by the incredible narrow margin of only 1 second from arch rival Michel Sala and Ron Varley in the Quattro. The Qatar International Rally had been a first-class event and an excellent start to the 1986 Middle East Rally Championship.